As someone who's worked closely with members of the Presley's extended family and several of Elvis's personal friends, I'm sharing a side of Elvis that's rarely seen, the thoughtful, refined, and quietly stylish man behind the stage persona. In this video, we're taking a closer look at how Elvis Presley quietly embodied many of the values gentlemen can admire: tradition, fine living, and a personal sense of elegance. Some of these are style secrets about Elvis you may not have ever heard before. When most people think of Elvis Presley, they picture the rhinestone jumpsuits, electric charisma, and screaming crowds. But look past the headlines, and you'll find something more enduring. You'll find a man who lived with poise, curiosity, and a quiet commitment to tradition. Let's start with Graceland. When Elvis purchased his iconic home, he was only 22 years old. He didn't choose a Hollywood hilltop or a flashy modern estate for the time. He chose legacy. He even kept the house's name, Graceland. It was the former owners who had originally named the house and the farm, and Elvis knew by keeping the name, he carried a sense of history forward. Despite his fame, Elvis remained deeply curious about the world. He built a personal library that's well documented now by the incredible historians at Graceland. Many of the books were literally stacked in his upstairs home office, they say. It was filled with books on philosophy, on religion, on psychology, and classic literature. Speaking of Elvis's office, here's another fact not as many people know. Elvis had a soft spot for fine stationery, high-quality journals, and fountain pens. He frequently wrote thank you notes, private reflections, and late-night letters to friends and family. And while he would sometimes write on literally any piece of paper, his stationery, when he used it, first featured his name and later the TCB logo with a lightning bolt, taking care of business in a flash. When he used stationery, it was usually on ivory paper. And what, you may ask, did he use to write? This is some interesting trivia. He would often use a pencil, and that is likely because musicians like Elvis use pencils to make notes on sheet music so they can erase and redo. Also, click fountain pens like this Parker Jotter had just been introduced in the 1960s. You click the end, the pen comes out. It's handy. I use them today. But early in the 1960s, when they were first introduced, Elvis loved tech items, so there's a good chance that he had a few Parker Jotters or click-style pens at the ready. There is also mention in various writing that he liked a black and gold Mont Blanc pen that had been gifted to him, similar to this one. I can tell you this, while I couldn't find any archival images of Elvis and a black and gold Mont Blanc pen, the Mont Blanc company currently, or certainly I should say, has a relationship to remembering Elvis. They currently offer a commemorative Elvis Presley pen, and in the past they've released other pens in tribute to Elvis. So again, there is certainly a Mont Blanc connection, and chances are with a pen as good as this one, it was fit for a king. Elvis probably had one somewhere. At home, Elvis also cultivated a lifestyle that mirrored the codes of quiet luxury. He wore custom-tailored clothing, even casually, that blended Southern charm with some European elegance. His everyday shirts were often bespoke, tailored by clothiers who understood his preference for clean lines, high collars, and subtle flair. He liked good sweaters, proper trousers, and the belts. Well, those may have been off the rails even at home, but they were always excellent quality. So we can see, even with the belts, how quiet luxury and style to fit the occasion was present even in his most casual looks. Elvis invested in footwear as a personal signature. His collection included slippers, Chelsea boots, classic loafers, and leather Oxfords. Early on, he went all out for socks, and you can see this in loads of photos from the 1950s and early 60s. Side-zip boots became part of the mix, and always a good pair of riding boots for time on horseback at Graceland. Elvis had an instinct. The people I've known who were close to him say he honestly did not see himself as a trendsetter. He simply knew what he liked, and as he worked and built a career and became exposed to more people, he built a wardrobe based on his experiences and based on his likes. He built it from the ground up. Elvis was fastidious about cleanliness and grooming, a trait associated with Southern courtesy and personal dignity. He wore a range of colognes that have been talked about online and in print, cologne fragrances like Brut and Canoe and Old Spice. Remember that this was a time before every store featured fragrances from around the world. He also did something that I do and that a lot of gentlemen do, and that is that he appreciated bespoke fragrances from local stores or men's stores, not always big popular brands everyone had heard of. And here's another interesting fact. Some people close to him say Elvis sometimes smelled of baby powder or talcum powder, always pleasant. And in that time period, sure enough, scented powder was the go-to for men, much like today people use body sprays or spray deodorant. I still prefer talcum powder. You can learn a lot more about Elvis's personal style, and I'll show you how in just a moment. But first, how can you bring a touch of Elvis's personal style and sensibility into your own life without a platinum record or a few? Here are 3 timeless tips. Pursue curiosity like a gentleman. Elvis was a lifelong learner. Start building a small personal library of books that challenge your thinking and deepen your worldview. Add one stylish flair and wear it unapologetically. You don't need a jumpsuit, but consider a vintage tie pin, an heirloom men's brooch, or even a bold pocket square can be your signature touch. Especially look for pieces with personal or family meaning. That is how a statement piece tracks well. And finally, this one's just for fun, but find your own great side zip boots. I have 2 pair, and they can literally go with anything from a tweed coat to a leather jacket. My point is, wear something that makes you feel quietly iconic. If you'd like to learn more about Elvis's personal style, some of the pieces he wore, some of the brands he chose, and the timeless touches he embraced, I've linked 5 helpful resources in the video description that you'll find below. These include original retailers, archival images, some articles, and of course a link to Graceland, the home of Elvis Presley. See what timeless lessons you might borrow from the king of rock and roll. If you love Elvis, give this video a thumbs up, comment about Elvis style that you can share, and let's remember the many ways Elvis continues to inspire.